Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for our national anthem?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Siegel and Schuster Society welcomes you to Cleveland's Glenville neighborhood, where legends were born. Today we honor two men who shook the world, who gave us exciting news stories and heroes, and whose legacy can never be forgotten. We honor those who have kept alive the memories of Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster, and their contribution to popular culture worldwide. And we thank those who have worked so diligently to recognize two Cleveland landmarks. To begin today's ceremony, representing the Siegel and Schuster Society, here's Mike Olszewski.
Thank you, everyone. A great day is upon us. A great day. Today we gather to honor two teenagers who created a universe on a piece of paper. Superman may be from Krypton, but he was born right here, in this house, in Cleveland's Glenville neighborhood, from the amazing minds of Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster. You know, a little over 20 years ago, Jerry Siegel remembered those early days in a letter to Mayor George Voinovich. He wrote, "Cleveland, whose streets we walked, and where we dreamed our wildly ambitious dreams back in the 1930s, during the Depression. We would walk all the way downtown because we couldn't afford streetcar fares. We looked up at Cleveland's Terminal Tower and visualized a costumed figure who had not yet seen print, whizzing through the sky around it on a secretly tremendous important mission, no doubt. Well, today, that mission would have brought him to Kimberly and Amore Avenues. There are 5 literary characters known worldwide. They include Sherlock Holmes, Robin Hood, Mickey Mouse, Tarzan, and of course Superman. The influence of these two men stretched around the globe. Like the kid near Stockholm, Sweden, who saw World War II happening in his own backyard. But that kid would read about Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster in Jules Verne magazine. He saw their vision for a future filled with hope and justice and accomplishment and some kind of peace. And that young boy vowed, someday I will go to Cleveland, Ohio. He grew up to be a renowned science fiction writer and journalist. And he eventually made it to stand here on this very porch to pay tribute to these truly remarkable individuals. What about a young boy closer to home, on Cleveland's southeast side, who would look out of his first grade window and imagined a man flying through the clouds and wondered about other characters captured in the printed word, not only in comic books, but the classics as well. His teacher may have taught him to read, but Siegel and Schuster gave him a reason to want to read and write and express himself. And that kid would grow up owing a lasting debt to Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster. A young girl on the city's west side would read Superman behind closed doors because it was seen as a boys' comic book. Well, she was inspired by the Man of Steel and Lois Lane to pick up a camera and capture images that would bring her and Cleveland international acclaim. Now, this world-renowned photographer has worked with the biggest names in entertainment to this very day. Hanging prominently in her home is a framed drawing of Superman, her constant reminder of the influence Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster had on her life. It could be an artist in Tennessee, or someone right here in Northeast Ohio, whose creativity was sparked by this new mythology and spent countless hours at a drawing board developing their own characters that would become synonymous with a city. Maybe it was an Academy Award-winning actor who would name his own son Kal-El. That was in tribute to the work of these amazing men. Nicolas Cage made it clear time and time again just how important the work of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster has been to him. What about a young man who could appreciate the importance in his own father's work as a policeman, whose dad would change into a blue costume and shield to fight crime, and then change back to his secret identity of being a dad when he came home for the night? And what about the kids who didn't have a dad, or one who was never home to be a dad because he was working 2 jobs? Every child's father should be their hero, but if he wasn't there, Superman was a great substitute. And Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster taught them valuable lessons. Perhaps he was an aspiring writer who thought he could work for the Daily Planet, or something close in the Plain Dealer, and even write his own award-winning graphic novels. Or maybe a kid who saw the academic importance of his work early on and would be moved to advance it at one of the world's most respected universities. Let's not forget the average citizen, who realized how important Cleveland, and especially Glenville's gift to the world, was to them, and felt they too should be part of this magnificent event. Many of these people are with us today. And those who are not are certainly here in spirit. The award-winning cartoonist Tom Baddock is one of them, and he wrote me to say, "One day, when I was in grade school, I was nosing through an encyclopedia. I came across an entry for Jerry Siegel. When I read that he came from Cleveland, and it was an epiphany, because I suddenly realized you didn't have to be from New York City to create comics. It was an inspiration to know that someone who came from where I lived could do that, and it opened my mind and heart up to a world of possibilities." Tom, of course, is the creator of the syndicated comic strip Funky Winkerbean, and he took his readers nationwide on a field trip to this very house. As I mentioned, they used to be called funny books, but Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster elevated this art to a new and exciting form of literature. Again, it's called the new mythology. Maybe a kid in the 50s or 60s got a dime for his weekly allowance. Maybe he had a paper route. That kid would go to a drugstore or a newsstand and look at those big revolving creaking stands of colorful magazines. And that dime bought that kid a ticket to another world full of adventure and space travel and maybe a trip through time. And it showed that a woman like Lois Lane could be assertive and successful in what was then called a man's world, even if she couldn't see the truth that what was hidden behind that flimsy pair of glasses. You know, in reality, she knew. She just didn't want to ruin the story. Otherwise, it would have been a waste of a dime for that kid. Let's face it. They embraced those characters. We all embraced those characters, really. But in reality, we didn't want to be Superman. More importantly, they saw the potential and the drive and the great dignity and the inspiration that was offered by 2 teenagers who never gave up and forever changed the face of American culture. In reality, they wanted to be Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. That's another major reason that we're here today. We have so many important people to thank. Jefferson and Hattie Gray. We'd like to give it up for them. I suspect you two had no idea you were going to become the caretakers of history. But you know what, folks? They embrace that role, and so often they open their home and their hearts to people they never knew, and they are 2 very patient and very special people. We also thank Rachel Davis and Tyrone Smith for being so kind in helping us prepare Joe Shuster's tribute site on Amore Avenue. They deserve special credit as well. We give special thanks to the noted writer Brad Meltzer. A year ago, we met on this very porch, and you could feel the passion this man had to restore this treasured Cleveland landmark. Now, along with Jason Sherry, the videographer, they captured the essence of Brad's vision. And through the generosity of the comics and television industries and the fans of Siegel and Shuster, we proudly stand here today.